Gillespie from the corner, twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move, trying to get to Son. He holds, he shoots, he scores! Absolutely!
The pitch, high fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
Wow, that 10-year anniversary logo by Anthony Veltri. He just came back from his 3-week hiatus. He left us for his birthday week. He celebrated for 3 weeks. And how about that 10th season logo? It's only going to be up another month. Can you believe it? The 11th year is here. Hey, thanks to Tony Lang, good friend of mine watching the show. Thanks to Amy from Giant Eagle Bakery watching our show. Welcome to all of you. We have to announce we're on Facebook Live to people that don't realize, and if you are watching us on TV, you can go watch us on Facebook Live too and comment. Thanks for watching Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BP TV studio in the Municipal Building right across from the police station. Upstairs is the library. Smokin' Jim hasn't visited it yet. Mayor's offices and an admin offices too. So check it out. We've been doing this show for almost 11 years, and we're glad that you're watching. We appreciate all our fans out there, and thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park, Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, and yes, all the way greater Pittsburgh area, Nemacolin, the Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. And we can't say how many likes we have on our Facebook page, because I'm not a fan of Facebook. I use it, so I appreciate all of you. But we were at 6980, approaching our 7K.
We were at 84 before the change.
84. 6984, and we got shut down. Now there's 6,800 followers, and they can't tell me who's following.
Yeah.
So leave it up to Facebook. Thanks for all this stuff, and we're happy to talk sports and a little nonsensical stuff like how not to invest like Smokin' Jim and other things like that. For all you financial people, I'll give you his phone number, but his government name isn't Smokin' Jim Frazier. Just friend Jim Frazier and say, I can help you for all of your financial needs. Just get your Mac Pro working. All right, enough of that stuff. We have a lot of sports, great sports week. Every day in Pittsburgh's great with all the teams we have and all the media here that likes to go negative like Smokin' Jim or likes to promote a team when they're not worth promoting. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Smokin' Jim Frazier to my right. Oh, no, to my left, we got Nick Callis. Chip Hayner was exposed to a gentleman at work who has COVID, was diagnosed today with it. So he called me up, and he knows I'm immunocompromised. For all of you, my immune system's getting worse. I celebrated my 3rd-year kidney transplant anniversary. Great blood, urine labs, perfect. My health is very well. My doctor said, see you in 6 months, keep doing what you're doing. So Chip didn't want to put me at risk because he's not feeling any symptoms, but he could be contagious. I'm double boosted, have EvoShield and everything else, and eat right and all that. So I still worry because there are people getting sick, and I could die from it. But with no further ado, we'll start our promos. We got Josh Fabus in here, almost done with his internship. Then he's going to graduate. Let's see what we got. Look at that close-up he did. The rookie is doing well. Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors our show with an XL pepperoni pizza and a steak hoagie cut in 6 slices for all of us here. Call them at 412-831-1900. Frank Finero said, hi, Smokin' Jim. And he just wants one of your sweeties' phone numbers. They have great Italian food, great pasta, great salads, you name it, wings, everything. Just go there, Hillcrest Shopping Center. Tell them the Taco Machine and Pittsburgh Sportsline sent you in because we like eating the food every week. I try to eat healthy, so I do a little cheat here because it's a lifestyle. Olive Oil's Pizzeria is worth cheating. And that's for you too, Smoking Jim. Although you can start biting into it anytime now. All right. Next up, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Hello to Jim Ellenbogen. Thanks for watching our show and being a fan. Chip's not here tonight if you missed that. So us three will carry on. Look at what Josh Fabus, it's his brother Joey, who died at 8 years old due to DIPG, the dreaded brain cancer. And he got the close-up here, and they have their special event coming up. What's the 18th? At 9 a.m. They're doing the Joey Fabus run, walk, superhero against DIPG 5K 1 mile run at the high school. So be there at 9 o'clock. Get your superhero costumes and run. You can get an interview with the talking machine and some unknown cameraman. We will see who does it. But yeah, they've started the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, have raised over $100,000. Dr. Gary at Children's Hospital says they're on their way to finding a cure. So we're praying for that. And you can donate money to them as little as $1. Donate your time and help. They do different events throughout the year. And Brother Josh is filming this. So you can't go wrong here on BPTV. Next up, another 501c3. Let's see what Josh does. He's on fire right now. Look at that hair. The hair from Emilio at Azazu. He gave me a little longer cut on top. I wear my Einstein shirt that Chip got me every day now. All right. This smiling young man, Bennett, his parents, Kristen and Dean, started Always Be Smiling to honor their son Bennett when he died at 16 and a half. He was a handicapped child, had 2 kidney transplants. The last one was by his dad, Dean. He didn't survive. He was always happy and had a good time. You never would have known that he had all these issues. And they wanted to help other children and people that are going through kidney disease and getting new kidneys. So they donate money to them. They do events on the Montour Trail and other locations in the South Hills and around Pittsburgh. So thanks for everybody that's liked Always Be Smiling like me. I tell the story, we boosted them from 800 to 1,200 plus. They appreciate it, and it helps expand their networking. And just stay tuned, and if you haven't liked them yet and you're hearing this for the first time, give Always Be Smiling a like. I guess you got to follow them because we found
more
out.
likes.
Yeah, we got to just keep following, so I got to change my routine. It's memorized, and unlike Smoking Jim, I practice every day. Next up, a local 501c3. Josh is on fire. Look at that close-up. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. You've driven by thousands of times. That trolley's there, red and white. Smoking Jim just found out where it was, but you know, we're not picking on him, but he's sort of sleepy today, so I got to make sure he's awake. And they have, it's a 1905 schoolhouse. It's been remodeled from the basement, which was a coal furnace, all the way to the cupola on the roof, new windows, and it's just a fantastic place. I'm a trustee on the Community Foundation. There's a Community Foundation auditorium. Last month we did a show in the auditorium with Josh, did one of the best videos of our shows according to Dave Cable, our director. Somehow he did it, and that's what he's doing again tonight. And they do a lot of great things there. One of my favorite green tea places is Reginald's Coffee. They have a roaster for coffee. They get worldwide coffee beans from all over the world. They roast it right in their shop. And everybody tells me, hundreds of people I know, tell me, go to Reginald's. Their coffee is better than Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and anybody else you want to throw in there. Theirs is the best. So check it out. They even have Wi-Fi. When Smoking Jim gets that Mac Pro going, he can even sit out there and maybe I'll sip a cup of tea and watch him drink something else.
Hey,
All right.
there's people that tell me that Josh is a Class A photographer as well.
Well, Smoking Jim, you listen to a lot of people, and whoever you talk to this time, they told you the truth. Those other people that you tell me about, I pray for their souls. That's all I could say, because they haven't been 100% honest
Well, they're going
with
to
you.
heaven. They're going to heaven.
You don't know if you are.
I said they're going to heaven.
How?
They're Christian.
My man, you're Christian, aren't you?
Yeah,
You going to heaven?
I hope.
How do they know and you don't?
I know they're going.
How do you know?
I can just tell.
Uh,
Way they help people.
we can't go any
You can't
deeper.
say that and wear that hat.
Yeah. Thanks. All right, I have a good news story since we're talking nonsense here for a minute or two. But Smoking Jim's entertaining. We followed our script with him. He tries to say something nonsensical that you can't back up with any facts. I have not met one of his so-called friends that hasn't investing in bitcoins.
Goodness.
Matter of fact, he does a Zoom every Tuesday night, and you know he calls me Machine. You think he'd say, "Hey, Machine, do you want to meet the people that are making me a millionaire?" No. And a year and a half, he hasn't asked me once. So if you think I'm skeptical, it's a guarantee. Because tonight he'll go, "Hey, see you, Machine." And I'll look in his window, his car, and I fog it up. He goes, "I'm going to be a millionaire." Okay. My good news story is Kathleen, our friend, has Josh got this up, the screen? Yeah, this is live TV, so there's always a stutter or something. And I was talking over to my best buddy, my BFF. He tells some whoppers, so we'll get with Kathleen. I met Kathleen in person at Friendship Village. If she's watching, hello, Kathleen. Very nice lady, had a great career, very, very smart lady, has a couple different degrees and was in business for a long time. Now she's retired. She got cancer about 6 months ago. Well, she was having kidney issues. She got a donor. Well, they operated on her, and they got all of the cancer out of her lung. She was in some industrial plants and things for her jobs, so she thinks she may have got something that caused cancer in one of those locations. So you just never know. So we met for lunch. We went to Atria's in Peters Township. I told her, order whatever you want. The machine is treating. So she ordered up. We had a great time talking. And the sad news is, she has the same surgeon I do, Dr. Tivar. He's great, very personable. He told her because of anti-remission drugs, you can't get a transplant now until 2026. You have to wait 4 years because the anti-remission drugs, I told you how serious they are. My immune system's getting destroyed so my kidney doesn't get rejected. Knock on wood, I've had no rejection issues or anything like that. My kidney's functioning at almost 70%. And we won't talk about pee because when we're older we do, but you might be young out there, so I don't want to talk about that. It's all good. But she can't get a transplant for 4 years, and she's worried that, you know, her kidneys could get worse and she might have to get on dialysis. So special prayers for Kathleen. I won't be bringing up every week about her getting a transplant because it's put on hold. So I just wanted to share that. She loves our show. She loves Chip. She loves Jim. She loves Nick. And she just wants to know what Smoking Jim is really talking about each week. Because again, she's smart. She's one of our smart viewers. And we appreciate all of you. All right. Josh to the test again. That's a nice wide shot. Oh, there we go. I want you for BPTV like Josh, like Nick. Like, I can call him Anthony now because we lost A2. A2 and Ryan are no longer with us. A2 came back, left us, so I can't say A2 anymore. I can't say A1. We got Anthony. And his last name's Veltri if you want to follow him on Facebook. And he does a nice gaming show, and I've watched a few of them. I'm not into that stuff, but I did watch a few shows. He has over 80 shows now.
Wow.
So give him a little watch there, and maybe you can do that new Facebook thing and follow his gaming. Bethel, what is it, Bethel Gaming?
Bethel Park Gaming.
Bethel Park Gaming, I got the name. BPG. All right. All right, I want you for BPTV 412-833-831-3304. Little mistake, what the heck. Nobody's perfect like Smoking Jim, so I'm doing the best I can here. And if you're in high school and you want to do video, audio, and you like that stuff, come on in. Dave Cape will teach you how to run a TV show and do your own videos and be a producer like The Talking Machine and Anthony. You can produce shows like that. You can make a promo like Josh and Nick did and Dave Cable did, having fun with me, that all I can do is talk in front of the camera. I can't do anything with the camera. I can't do anything with editing, unlike Smoking Jim, who's a producer in the city at PCTV. He got his editing license, and how many shows have you edited?
0 so far.
He's a winner. He's a winner, but you can do it. But sign up with BPTV. You could be here. We need a couple volunteers right now with school coming back, and with Josh going to leave us soon because he only could serve with us for like 270 hours, and he's crushing those hours, so he's going to be gone. All right. Let's go with this promo. Look at that setup again. He centered it, closed it up. He's doing perfect work on that camera. I thought my vibrate wasn't working. It just...
Did it? My
Yeah.
bad. I didn't know.
Technology's
I
great.
thought I turned it off.
Unbelievable.
Rats.
All right. Go to bpcf.org for grant money. Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you from $100 to $5,000. Now, this is all real grant money. This isn't some friends telling Smoking Jimmy got money. This is actual money in Bethel Park. We raise money, do the Bethel Bounty, which raises more money than any event. We got a golf outing coming up on Monday the 19th, and it's for charities here, like the library, Bethel Park Historical Society, and a couple other things too, BPTV. And they raise money at the Nevillewood Golf Course, so check that out. But bpcf.org, you know the W's go in front, get an application, come to our meetings. It's once every 2 months. I think we have one at the end of this month. So get that app ready and come on in. All right, let's see what we got here next. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Let me warm
you
up.
got to see Levine.
How about that overhand fastball?
Woo! Oh, that was beautiful,
Straight
man.
overhand,
That
like
was
I
beautiful.
used to pitch.
But I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine.
What?
I'm going to boycott baseball until Dave Parker and Pete Rose gets into the Hall of Fame. Dave Parker was a 7-time All-Star. He's a 2-time World Series champion. He's a league MVP. He's a 2-time batting champion. Pete Rose never cheated the game. Did he cheat the game when he had over 4,000 hits? Did he cheat the game when he was voted to 17 All-Star games? Did he cheat the game when he was Rookie of the Year, League MVP, World Series MVP? Dave Parker's in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Let me say that again. Dave Parker's in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Dave Parker's in the Pittsburgh Pirates Hall of Fame. It's time to get Dave Parker and Pete Rose into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
I got to interrupt a couple things there. Dave Parker, I agree with.
He's in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame.
Did you just find that out this weekend?
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
My man, I'm glad you had an interview with the guy, and you only learned about baseball. You only learned about baseball 11 years ago. You know about being a degenerate gambler. Pete Rose is a degenerate gambler. Matter of fact, I interviewed Roger Houston, and he's from Ohio. Guess who he met when he was a rookie? Pete Rose.
I thought
And
maybe
he
Art
was,
Schlichter.
and he You know how he met him? He was at the racetracks betting on horses.
Art Sleester's from Ohio, too.
How can you change a subject
I'm just
when
saying.
I'm talking about Pete Rose?
I didn't know you said yes.
Did I even stutter? I said Roger Houston was talking about Pete Rose. Can I make it any more clear, folks? This is about Pete Rose. He was betting horses in his rookie year. How do you know he wasn't betting for and against his team through his career? They only found out when he was a manager because he stiffed the bookmakers because he owed them money, and they ratted him out.
That don't sound right.
Ha!
Well, I rest my case with Smoking Jim being naive. And thank you for the thing about Dave Parker. And I have one question to all the people from that era, and they can't answer it. Where and why did people come up with batteries to throw against the second $1 million baseball player, Dave Parker? I was so appalled that they were throwing batteries that he had to wear a helmet from the dugout to right field. Nobody can answer that. They go, they were just throwing anything. Why was it documented it was batteries?
Right. Right.
Now, how many people like today even have batteries except in these things? I'm not throwing this at them. Cost me $1,000.
It hurt though. It'd do the job.
Yeah.
Kill
But no,
somebody.
that's one question if I interviewed him I'd ask. And you didn't ask, though.
No, didn't.
No, I'm glad you did, and you found out about Dave Parker. He had 5 years that he was one of the best top baseball player in the MLB. 5 years.
Yes, sir.
But he got involved with Coke. And they almost sold our team because of the Coke trials. You didn't know that or even ask that.
I didn't know that.
Now, here's a guy that was called Vita Blue and thought he knew baseball. I rest my case. Nick Callis, let's get to some truth and what's on your mind.
Well, I don't know if it'll be truth, but it'll definitely be opinions that make sense. But
Whoa.
no.
You know what, folks? We're going off the rail tonight. I'll just bring you back. Whether it's truthful or not, it's entertaining. So what's on your mind?
All right, well,
how's that? Or you feel better?
Yeah, I saw Chief in the comments wants to know my opinion on the new baseball rules, and that'll be coming up in VIP time, so everybody can stay tuned for that.
That's a great teaser
Yeah.
on TV.
Yes, sir.
But let's talk about right now the Steelers, because they won a football game, and that's awesome. Now, here's what I want to say.
Hold it. Wait. Time out. A year ago, this happened. We had a
Oh,
banner
no,
right
I'm going to
here.
mention it. I was going to mention it. I wanted to break the jinx. If you remember last year,
You know I can't wait
I
for
hung
this
a
stuff.
banner and I wore a bunch of Steelers stuff after they beat the Bills.
Yes, sir.
And I am here right now on television taking full responsibility for their next 3 losses during the season. So we're not going to do that again. And instead, we're going to dissect some more rational thoughts on the Steelers. I heard some comments that they said that the defense won the team the game. I honestly disagree with that, and I thought that the offense played very well. I thought that the defense doing its job by getting takeaways and not letting the Bengals offense do well played a part. But the offense still had to score, and I thought Trubisky looked serviceable as a quarterback enough for them to win that game.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? I'm going to talk about that, and I can't use the word very well offensively.
I thought
That's my tease. So you carry on. I'm not going to interrupt you because you're on a roll. I respect you. And we always interrupt everybody so much. But I have 2 words I disagree with. Very well.
all right, okay. Maybe not very.
No, you
I
don't
want-
have to correct yours. Stay with
All
it.
right. I do want to give the offense more credit than I think it got, though. Did the defense shine? Yes. Did the defense end up winning the game for the team at the end? Absolutely. Was TJ Watt a big part of the defense before he got taken out? Yes, and we'll see how they play without him there for the next month or so.
6 weeks, they're saying at least.
But I want to say that when you attack a Bengals team with the offense like the Steelers did early on to get up by 3 or 4 possessions, that's really where many turning points in the game happen, because if they can't put up those points, the takeaways by the defense don't matter. So I just want to make sure that everybody stays balanced in the perception. The defense shined, definitely the strong point on the Steelers. I wouldn't go as far to say, though, that the defense won the team the game. It made clutch plays.
I got to interrupt you again. How about if they didn't get 5 sacks or 7? Yeah, five interceptions and turnovers and 7 sacks. What would the complexion of the game been? Just as a little sidebar
Well, I
before you
understand
go
that, but-
further. And I say, take that away, and what would the score have been?
But I don't have to take it away. I'm not.
Well, you're giving your opinion on
Yeah,
it. I'm just countering it.
I'm acknowledging the fact that the defense did its job, but I'm saying that the offense still had to make plays to score. And I'll tell you this, too. I saw in the wild card game last year when Ben was still at quarterback how kind of flat the offense really looked and how Kansas City was doing more agile things to make plays happen. And I saw the one play where, what was it? You hand off to Najee, who flipped it to Claypool, who flipped it to Trubisky. Maybe not those exact players, but, like running back to receiver to quarterback, who flung it down the field for a 40-ish yard gain. I mean, those are the kind of plays that I think should also be acknowledged. Like, hey, they're doing more things as an offense that they weren't doing with an aging, statuic Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, you should have mentioned that an older, crippled Hall of Fame future quarterback who should have had a competent replacement hired 4 years ago.
Well, I'm talking about the Week 1 game. I'm talking about the Week 1 game.
Well, you were comparing to what we saw last year, which
Yeah.
was one of the worst seasons I've seen.
I know, but I'm saying that
Because of that.
what we saw in Week 1 looked more modern and more agile than what we saw in that playoff game.
I have a word for you. It was mobile.
Yes, it was a mobile offense.
I have one word for that. There was mobile quarterback play. And you see what a difference that makes from the first quarter to the last. For all you innocent football fans that have watched it as long as I am, you got to take the glasses off. So you're explaining that.
Yeah. So
And I agree with that.
yeah. So that's kind of that's pretty much the whole point. I want people to understand that the offense played a major role in that win. Because again, the defense makes the stops and pressures the Bengals offense to make mistakes, but then the offense has to get through the defense of the Bengals to be able to score the points that they did. And the fact that they went up by so much so early did play a crucial factor in them eventually winning the game. That's what's on my mind.
Okay, I won't add any more to that. I appreciate and respect your opinion. And thank you, Nick. Tony from Chick-fil-A, who's still out of work, they're remodeling and doing the outside. It doesn't look like it's opening for a while. He said, let's test Smokin' Jim's sports knowledge in boxing. Who holds the all-time winning record and how many belts did they hold? He's going to have to give him about 10, 15 minutes to think about that because I'll add in what's on my mind. But thank you, Tony from Chick-fil-A, otherwise known as Anthony, Smokin' Jim's friend. All right, what's on my mind? I already teased you. I'm not the typical Yinzer Pittsburgh Steeler fan. They won a game. It was an ugly-looking game. They went against a defense with Cincinnati that's one of the top 2 defensive teams, they've said. Now, our offensive line, I'm not happy with them, and they did something that I asked. Playing football, sometimes just stand in front of a guy instead of looking like Moore did in the preseason. Gary Moore did well last year. He was we called it a rusty gate when we were growing up, that he just let people come in. So for them to score as many points as they did against one of the better defensive teams, I give them kudos for how we couldn't run and how we didn't have 40 points off of the turnovers. Is shocking to me. How we had to hurt their snapper, their long snapper, and guess what? Minka blocked a snap that took 5 seconds to get back there. He could have actually caught it. If he would have turned around, he could have caught it. They had a tight end. All of you think it's easy to play football. Some of you think, and it's moronic, think anybody can play first base. But you can't be a tight end and go in and throw a good snap. I mean, I was a snapper on the punt team, and I know that plus regular snapping. And I'll just brag, during my senior year at Keystone Oaks, I didn't have one mishandled snap
Wow.
the whole season.
Wow.
And rain
That's
games
amazing.
and everything else.
That's
So
amazing.
I know a little bit about it from experience. So I didn't see the offense shine. I saw they were more mobile. I saw we had no running game and Najee got hurt. That Warren that came in seems like a better running back than Benny Football, and McDonald. He seems better than them because he moved up on the depth chart. How did we have them the last couple years and think we had a good running attack? I don't know. So the offense did better. Trubisky had an okay game. He looked a little nervous. He overthrew a couple things, but he completed passes at the end. Freiermuth, who he hit for, what, a 26-yard pass, he had somebody open in the middle of the field 8 yards away. And all you guys would have said, put Pickett in there if he hit the guy 8 yards away. Guess what he did? He took a chance and said, I'm going for the win. So I like his mentality. I think he should be a quarterback for well over half the season, no matter if we start losing. I believe he has the talent and skill, and I believe the line will get better. Because guess what? Preseason, you could see Cincinnati. How did their offensive line look? How many sacks did they give up? 7? They said they improved Cincinnati Bengals line this year. Now, if you're Cincinnati Bengal fans, what are you saying? They lied. Right? Because you saw the proof. Then we're bragging about our defense, and I go, they played a pretty good game. But I have a question. How did they allow 32 first downs? How did they take over the game and win the game being on the field for 44 minutes?
Wow.
You realize our offense was on the field for 16 minutes?
That's crazy.
And you're telling me very well, you're a smart guy, but that comment doesn't jive with 16 minutes on offense, and you played football.
They did
If
play
you
over.
don't- If
Hey.
you wait, I'm not even going with the overtime. I'm talking
Okay.
with all that in there, a 60-minute game. That isn't very well. And there are things that we need to tighten up, but we're not winning a Super Bowl this year, is my point to this. For all of you that think we're going to win a Super Bowl with Pickett or Trubisky or something, they have a lot of improvements to make. It was a nail-biting game. It was a frustrating game to watch, and there were good things that happened. So I'm happy about that. I'm just critical of all the smoke that's being blown out there. We have a lot to do. And look at the Bengals. They were in the Super Bowl. Did they look like a Super Bowl team in the first game? It's a simple answer, no. Look at Burrow, how he looked. When you aren't having blocking and people are hitting you constantly, guess what? Look what happened to a great quarterback. See what happens in the next couple weeks. Which way are we going to go? Are we going to improve? Will the players playing together, since the preseason's a joke? Most of the offensive teams, if you saw it throughout the NFL, they hadn't played a down, some of the offensive linemen, quarterbacks, receivers. They just thought if you keep resting them, they won't get hurt. Look at TJ Watt. Should we have rested him at the end of the game because of the great game he had? Then he wouldn't be hurt. Or is he taken after JJ Watt, who constantly got hurt with torn muscles and everything else in the last 5 years?
Yep.
So, I mean, these are things we got to think about. Sorry to go on a long little vent, but I watch the games and I'm a Steeler fan. I still bleed that black and gold. I just don't trust Art Rooney in charge. So, go Steelers. Let's see what the adventure is next week against New England. What will Belichick come up with? That's the question. Here's another thing. He doesn't even have an offensive coordinator because he's so arrogant. He got 2 defensive coaches, I don't even know how to say this, calling plays. And we all know defensive coaches know what plays are being called against them, so they defend them. How are they now calling offensive plays to do well? And what happened in New England? They lost. All right, stay tuned. We're going to be back 10 seconds with Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
All right, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, and just to give you some kudos, a lot of people maybe watching out there don't realize that centers was a very dangerous position. Nowadays, you can't hit the center when he snaps the football for special teams. Before, it was all-out assault. You could jump on him, you could hit him, you could
What do you think
elbow him, you
happened
could
to
punch
me?
him. Yeah,
I'm damaged by that.
I mean, for you to not to have a bad snap is incredible. I don't know who has the record. I know Archie Moore fought for 25 years. Sugar Ray Robinson fought for 25 years. I think Harry Greb might have the record. I know he had 45 fights in 1 year, but he died early at 32.
I think he had
So,
over 300 fights.
300 fights, and probably Harry Greb.
The Pittsburgh Windmill.
Pittsburgh Windmill, 45
He's a
professional
forgotten
fights
fighter.
in 1 year. And only got to ever
Google
beat
Harry Greb.
only got to ever beat Gene Tunney. Gene Tunney beat Jack Dempsey, but his only loss was to Harry Greb, human windmill. But anywho,
Great point, Smoking Jim.
oh, thank
Thanks,
you,
Tony
thank
from
you.
Chick-fil-A.
But hey, I got to talk about, and I think that you both baseball people will appreciate this. I know Josh
no, we
will,
won't.
and
Let
the
me do a
captain will.
disclaimer up
On the edge of
front.
my seat.
We won't.
I think you will. I just got 2 notes from the interview I had with the Cobra, Dave Parker. I asked Dave Parker, and you guys would appreciate this question. I said, Dave, you batted left-handed, but you threw the ball right-handed. Why wasn't you a switch hitter? And he told me that he batted right-handed in BP, which is batting practice for people watching.
For
that
a
may not know.
non-baseball players
Yeah, for
like
there's
you.
people
Yeah.
that's watching that
It
may
doesn't
not
stand
know.
for Bethel
the
Park?
people- no, it don't stand for Bethel Park. And he said when he would bat in the All-Star game for the home run derby, he batted right-handed and even won 1 year. But he said that the reason that he batted left-handed is because baseball was designed for left-handed hitters. You're closer to first base. You're going to face more right-hand pitching than you do left-hand pitching. So the game is designed for a left-hand hitter. That's why he always hit left-handed.
That's why Babe Ruth did so well, and Yankee Stadium had a short right field.
I love me some Babe Ruth.
You
Great
learned
great candy bar.
that. Yeah. One of my favorites.
The other question that I asked him about. I
agree with him.
I asked him. I don't want to ask the questions about the women that I asked him about because you know he had. We are family, but I'm just going to bring up the baseball question.
Wait, you can't just drop that line.
Yeah, he was dating one of
I-
the girls. We are family. Yeah.
Nick didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know, Nick? Yeah, woo! Hey, they were superstars on and off the field. Yeah,
In
she was
Smoking
good
Jim's
looking too.
opinion.
Yeah.
This is still a family-friendly show.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just stick with the baseball questions I asked.
Thank
These
you.
are only
And
2
not the
baseball.
girls.
Only asked 2 baseball questions in
We're
an
trying to
hour.
get to it. Go ahead.
Here's the second baseball question I asked in the hour. I said, hitting today is considered to be poor. And I asked him why. He said they're too worried about the rotation on the ball. He said, when you see the ball, hit the ball. He said, keep it simple. It didn't hurt Willie Mays. It didn't hurt Mickey Mantle. It didn't hurt me. He said, analytics in baseball is hurting the batters. He says, everybody is trying to hit home runs.
Did you write all this down?
I only had 2 questions. This is almost done. I wanted to get exactly right. I like to get my quotes exactly right. It was so good.
Hold it. This is a Pittsburgh sports line first.
He's
Now,
getting it
look at
right.
this. Look at this. I know. I wish Chip was here. He would appreciate it too. He said they are hitting today 25 to 30 home runs, but they're only driving in 60 runs. He says you want to put the ball in play when you got men in scoring position. And here's the last thing. He says take 2 legitimate shots at driving the ball, but cut down on your stance and go into a 2-strike stance.
What about choking up on the bat?
Yeah, he said.
He didn't say that.
He said after you take your 2 legitimate strikes to hit the ball far, he said go into your 2-strike stance because to put the ball, you have a better chance, a 50-50 chance of putting ball in play when you do that, and you can drive in more runs. So it was very good for him to have Parkinson's disease. He still remembered them ladies, but he was still, you know what I mean. He had to take a little
was
rest.
sharp enough.
He had to take rest every once in a while, because but other than that, man, he was sharp. He was smooth, and I told him I felt like he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame over Al Oliver. But that's what's on my mind.
Why not both?
Well,
Why do we got to pick sides? Why not
Al
both?
Oliver ain't got no business in there. I mean, just in my opinion. And I love Al Oliver. He's a friend.
He's a minister. You know what, Smoking Jim?
I ain't
I
voting.
think you're very selective with your Christian friends. Al
love him.
Oliver's a minister.
Remember we had him in Monroeville last year. Remember Al Oliver?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Look at
Him and his
that.
grandson.
The hat.
Yeah. I mean, we had him here on Al Levine, had him on Pittsburgh Sports Line.
He called in.
He called in. The guy, he's knocking at the door for the Hall of Fame, and he ain't no Hall of Famer. I love him. Hey. He was a cork bat away from getting in, brother. Probably. Maybe if he didn't cork that bat.
Here's a disclaimer. There's a disclaimer.
I love him, machine.
Let me explain.
Everybody can't get in.
Smoking Jim has one of his best friends, Claudio Rosano. He's the head coach of Carnegie Mellon University baseball. But he didn't learn baseball until he met me on
That's
Pittsburgh
true.
Sports Line.
That's true.
And we won't get into the Negro Baseball League in 17 pages. I gave him a book I had, and he only read 17 pages.
They don't deserve in the Hall of Fame either.
I got a
in my
question. Wait,
opinion.
you learned about baseball
Do
when
you
you
think
came on.
the Negro Leagues
you,
deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? No.
Yeah.
Come on. They ain't playing the major leagues.
why not?
Well,
Why
they
not? Good. Spell it
There's
out for
a
everybody.
reason.
Spell it out for everybody.
There's a
Good.
reason.
Good. Spell it out.
There's a reason.
Yeah, you don't
but
want to
they-
spell it out. Okay.
Well, Smoking Jim, because of their color, which you don't acknowledge, because you're naive and colorblind, they were kept out of professional baseball because they were black, the color of their skin.
What the Globetrotters said. If you're just putting everybody in.
Well, they could be in the NBA Hall of Fame. You're changing subjects. We know he can't give a direct answer, so we'll move on. Thanks, Smoking Jim. We appreciate your Dave Parker statements that you wrote down word for word.
Word for word.
Did you have him spell it? That's why he got tired. You had him spell 50 words. We're going to go to Nick Callis, the VIP, in 10 seconds.
Baseball is changing, and here I have to talk about it because I like baseball. So I'll cover all three briefly here. So first we have bigger bases. I like bigger bases because promotes more offense, limits injuries, might even improve steals. Everybody's complaining that people don't steal bases anymore, so give them a little more area to kind of swipe those bags. I'm all right with it. Number two, banning the shifts. I've said it before on the show. I think that it's a good idea because you want to, again, promote that offense. And I think that when pitchers are able to locate well and throw at a high velocity, it becomes almost humanly impossible for hitters to be able to redirect a ball in such a way with high velocity, off the bat, to be able to hit it in a certain way where they can reach base. It's difficult when a pitcher's throwing the pitch where he wants to, for then the hitter to try to react to those pitches in a way where they can then steer the ball. I know I've heard the argument, too, that they're major league hitters. Well, they're major league pitchers as well, so it's cool.
Let me give you a historical note.
All right.
They had big bats, sometimes 40-ounce bats. Ty Cobb was one of the greatest hitters, stealers, and everything else. You know what he used to do?
What did you do?
Choke up on a bat.
Yeah, but
You know what he
when
used
Ty
to
Cobb
do?
played baseball, they were throwing underhand, so...
Well, yeah, but he did play. He did play where they were throwing overhand.
No. It was a different
You
time.
can't say the
It was a
underhand.
different
You could call
No,
dead
it
ball
wasn't
error.
actual underhand, but it was pretty close to underhand,
It was overhand the best they could.
which kind of looked like this. You know,
Well, here, I'll show you overhand.
that didn't come around until like the 56.
Some of them still threw
Yeah.
overhand back then. So I dispute,
Most of them did. Most of them
I
did.
dispute some of it, just like different rules that changed in the dead ball era to the live ball era, and then the live ball got livelier, and stadiums got changed in short right fields, and fences got moved in instead of having monstrous ballparks. That all changed too.
Well, they moved them in because the football stadiums, because they were trying to do that hybrid thing.
Well, I
that
didn't
just
care
was,
the reason, but they did it.
Well, now they're changing them again, so they're making them
That's
more
my
unique.
point
All right.
again.
All right, cool.
Yeah, the
So-
reasons don't matter. It's
So-
what they lived through. But my point was, whether they threw it 20 miles an hour or 70 or 80, they knew how to handle a bat. I'd take Ty Cobb today, batting up at the plate, that he could still hit the ball over 300.
I thought you see that
I
as well.
agree. I agree.
I think the bat control is difficult, though, so the shifts are good for that reason. Not that, like, the best of the best players in the history of the game couldn't do it, but, like, not everybody's the best of the best. We still got to consider the people who strive to do the best they can and just don't do well. It's a difficult thing to do in a 96 mile per hour. It's a difficult thing to do in a 96 mile per hour pitch. Is riding in on you and you're trying to hit it the other way. It's difficult.
How about
Pi-
just
pitcher-
stand in front of it and you get on base? See if he keeps
Well, if you
throwing that
stand on the
96.
plate and a-
No, you stand right next to it.
Well, then it's even harder to hit because
You
they
get
throw-
hit, you get the base. I don't need to swing.
But if they
coach.
locate it as a strike, it's hard to hit.
How about it's hitting the guy? They like throwing those
All right.
1 inch away.
No, anyway, so
I'm trying to mess
I
with
support the big bases. I support the shifts being banned, or at least not being as excessive. So it's 2 fielders on each side of the second base bag and no infielders in the outfield. So I think it's good. Now here's the big one that is super controversial, I think, the most, and that's we're adding a clock to baseball. And this one kind of has me teetering, but I'm kind of siding for it, which might be surprising to many of you. And I'm surprising myself, honestly, because if you'd asked me this question 7 years ago, I probably would have been like, no, don't do it. But,
it. Were you playing the game?
yeah,
Okay.
7 years ago I was.
Just want to put it out.
So, and here's why I say this. Now, if you can trust people to police themselves to be able to, like, maintain enough reasonable and rational decisions to call time or to step out of the box or to deliver the baseball eventually, then, like, that's okay. The problem is that nobody's policing themselves anymore because we do have the mentality where it's like, okay, well, the rules don't say I can't, so I'm going to do it. And we know now how many people have taken advantage of that. Yadier Molina is a great example. But so many other players are just like, yeah, I want to call time. You don't throw this pitch until I put my hand down, right? Like, no, that's silly, okay? Because the game isn't technically suffering from that because that is strategy, but who is struggling is the fans because that's just hard to watch, and it's silly to watch. I don't want to watch a dude step in a box and be like, nope, I got to take 45 seconds to get it in the box and get ready to go. And I don't want the pitcher to be able to step off 3 times before delivering a pitch. So,
Nick,
like,
you missed one thing.
what I miss?
What about the gloves that they constantly refasten?
I mean, that's, again, I think that's
isn't
silly.
once enough?
Yes. I never refasten my batting gloves. That's just me. I can understand why you might want to do it, but, like, it's time to.
Thanks for clarifying.
I'm okay with that ending. I'm totally fine with that ending. And I think that'll benefit more because you might assume that some of the older fans might think that that's not good. But at the same time, if you put a clock in the game, now the older fans don't have to watch the new guys doing all their accessories, adjusting everything. You're going to force them to get in the box, and you're going to force the pitcher
The pitch.
to throw the pitch within a 15-second time frame, nobody on base, 20-second time frame with a runner on base, and there is a limit if you didn't read the fine print.
I didn't.
You only get 2 step-offs or pick-offs per
Oh, you're kidding.
per batter. So if the first time you step off, the clock will reset to 20. The second time you step off, the clock will reset to 20 again. But the third time, it's a balk. So runners advance
You're
a base.
kidding.
So that's another new rule. Now that I'm a little bit against.
Me too.
I'm a little bit against because it hurts the pitcher. It hurts the pitcher's defense of the runner on base. But I also see the other point where they want to promote stealing. And if you force a pitcher to wisely use pickoff attempts, you're going to increase the amount of steal attempts.
Yeah.
Because if a pitcher has to balk, or if a pitcher does
Yeah.
balk after that on that third time, well, runners are getting in scoring position more. You're promoting offense. But then again, how are they going to police that? And I also think about this: if a pitcher steps off twice, and then what happens? Does the runner just walk to second base? Because it's not like, once the pitcher would step on the rubber again, the runner just goes because you can't do anything about it. So do you pitch out real quick? Well, no, that would be a balk if you deliver the ball too soon. So that one's a little touchy. Overall, the rule changes I think will be good, and I think that change will produce more offense, which might very well make the games more exciting. A clock in baseball will have good consequences to follow, in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Nick. Sorry to interrupt you on a couple things.
That's
but,
okay.
we're always doing that, so I had to carry the tradition alive.
Yeah.
11 years of this. All right, we're going to go to On Location. 10 seconds. Shame A2's gone. That's a great graphic he left us. And we were under 10 seconds there. Thanks, Anthony, in the control room. James Ellenbogen has some fiction for you. In fact, center field in Forbes Field, they said, was 457. He was on the Sports Authority. Guess what? That was BS. The real number was 408. Then we had a little pirate named Freddie Patek. He hit the ball out of the park, and that tells us he likes to use my wild caught. That was a wild caught home run at 408 feet. So different numbers. Is Smoking Jim's learned with his people telling him what Bitcoins are worth or whether he's trading it or not. We don't know what it is. The numbers don't lie. People lie. So thank you, Jim. I appreciate that wisdom. On Location, what a great afternoon of boxing outside we had with Nick Callis. He used, first time ever, we didn't use a BPTV camera. We used a camera from, his laptop.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he had a live feed that the Wi-Fi was a little off. He's upset, but I told him he did the best he could. We had 11 great fights. The sun came out. It was a beautiful day for boxing. A lot of great boxing things that Smoking Jim and I saw. There were great fighters and great women fighters. And I got a little story on Bella.
Okay.
You won't believe this story. Bella Constantini, she was the fight of the afternoon. Smoking Jim gets crazy. Every fight's a fight of the night or whatever. But this one, our BFF Jamie Chesney, who filled in when Smoking Jim went to the bathroom, she got to do some announcing, but she was told by Jack Mook to pick the fight of the afternoon, and she picked the fight. So everybody knows I promote Jessica Lee, my friend, and she had an event at Settlers Ridge. And I said to them I was going to be going there at 6 o'clock. Well, I didn't get out of the fights till about 5 o'clock. And she was playing with Mark Strickland. Great area at Settlers Ridge. Go there. There's a grassy little court, and they had a tent they were in. And Panera's there. And I didn't eat all day because Smoking Jim kept me going. And, just didn't. I didn't even get to drink water, I think. So, and it was a hot day. So I went to get something to eat, and I said, wow, I'm hungry here. I need a minute or two. I was at boxing all day. So a young lady preparing the food goes, a friend of mine was boxing today. And I go, really, your girlfriend? She goes, yeah, her name's Bella, and she was fighting in the North Hills. I go, we filmed and announced the fight of the afternoon. She won it. Wow. She goes, I heard she won. I go, what's your name? Shout out to Haley.
Wow.
So I meet her best friend at Panera's in Robinson.
What's the chances?
You talk about, thank you, God.
Yeah.
What an experience that was. And they were great to meet me. They said, hey, you can come back anytime you want. And I opened the door and they heard Jessica Lee and Mark playing. They said, what a great show they're doing out there. But back to the fights. Jack Mook and the match made that fight so great. A couple times his own gym was boxing each other.
Yeah.
And guess what? You would have never known they weren't in the same gym, right?
Yeah.
It was a great day. Nick had fun. He loves the boxing there. He tested my skills. Like, I've never been this old before. I'm 66. And all of a sudden, the camera's on a huge tripod, 6 feet up in the air,
Oh, that was
and
amazing.
it falls down. I'm talking to Jim. I reached out. I caught it.
Yeah,
It was
that
just a
amazing.
webcam. Nobody was going to get hurt.
Well, what if it hit me in the head?
You'd have been fine.
Or God forbid if it hit Smoking Jim in that head.
He's got a hat. He's fine. He always wears a hat.
Yeah, but we don't know what's under the hat. But no, the fights were great. We even saw Jack Mook's son, Josh Mook, who was a 4-time Golden Glove champion, fought his last amateur fight. He didn't win. A young man, Kevin, from South Park Boxing Club, won the fight. Tough fight, great fights, a lot of boxing action. How many punches were thrown in these fights? It was just unbelievable.
How about that brother from Aliquippa?
Which one?
They let him out. Jay
Jackson.
Williams? Jackson, yeah.
Jay Jackson.
Remember he came over and his manager introduced him to us.
Yes. And we said, we're filming this.
Yeah.
So good luck. He won.
Yeah,
He was throwing punches from everywhere.
yeah, he was.
We were on Darren's side. I remember they were pretty passionate for him, but he
They
just
was right in your ear.
did not.
You had to delete a few things out of there, brother.
Well, yeah, he did cut it. But what an exciting day of boxing. We're going to prelim boxing match with Christopher Ralph on Saturday in Southside. It's on Foster Street, right in around St. Clair Village there. So Smoking Jim and I will be there. And the same ring announcer, Dave, he'll be out there.
Okay.
Smoking Jim liked his mushroom-colored outfit. It wasn't mushrooms. It was flowers. He liked his bright outfit. So we'll be with him again. And, we should have a lot of fun there again. And we'll just be carrying on with these shows. Make sure you go to the Joey Fabus 5K 1 mile run on Saturday at 9 a.m. Make sure you do that, please. And we got Community Day on the 24th. I'll be doing interviews of every booth and vendor there on the 24th then. So that's at 10 o'clock in the morning. So come out to these events. We appreciate all of you. Any final words, Smoking Jim?
No.
Good. Nick?
I'm happy with baseball's rule changes, and although it was unexpected, I'm happy that the Steelers pulled out a win.
Go Steelers. My criticism is what I see. I give everything the eye test. If you have common sense, tell me the truth then. Please think before you say something. At least a couple
Do you agree with that,
times.
Smoking Jim?
Just trying to provide some wisdom. Thanks to Josh. Thanks to Anthony coming back to us after a 3-week hiatus, and he's now older. Unbelievable. These young kids are getting older. And please stay Joey strong.